Okay. So after completing the various functions that are performed by the channel members, we move to the various factors that affect the selection of which channel of distribution should one select. So the first one is the product related selection. As the name suggests that the selection of your channel will be dependent on the kind of product you're dealing in. So this includes the unit value of a product. Like we were discussing about cars. So if I am trying to sell you a car, I will not have too many middlemen. So maybe a manufacturer, one or two authorized agents, and that's it. But if I have an FMCG product where the unit value is like say 10 rupees, 15 rupees, 50 rupees, I could have a longer chain till it reaches the final consumer. Likewise, the other category is standardization or customization of the product. So, if I have a standard product, like let's say a kurti that I can buy from Biba, so it's a standard thing, only variation is slightly in size or in color. So, I could have a longer chain of distribution. But if it is something which is customized, I go to Mazba or Manish Malhotra, so I can get it customized, so it's more direct in nature. Then comes perishability factor. So if my goods are more perishable in nature, so there I will prefer to have a less chain of distribution or a shorter chain of distribution. So let's say a milkman coming to your house directly. He'll go to the cattle shed, he'll extract the milk and he'll get to you directly. Or something that you get in a package form like Amul or Mother Dairy for that matter. But when it comes to a slightly longer shelf life, let's say a butter or something, though it's a dairy product, but the perishability or the durability is slightly higher, so you can have a comparatively longer chain of distribution. And lastly, the technical nature. Like if your product is too technical, so the company might want to give its own demonstration. Like when AquaGuard was new in the market and people did not understand the concept of water purifier, so it had these kind of technically equipped or trained sales personnel giving you demonstration. Today it is almost the same, so they have a longer chain of distribution. The second category of factors that affect is the market. Who is your target market or where is your market? So this talks about the number of buyers. If I have large number of buyers using my product, I can have a wider network of channel intermediaries. So again, the FMCG product, whether I'm staying in Kashmir, whether I'm staying in Indore, whether I'm staying in Chikmagalur, but I will buy a soap to bathe. So I can have a bigger market. I have a bigger market, so I can have a bigger chain of distribution. When I have a lesser number of bars, so I can have it more specific. So let's say if I'm selling a medical product, everybody will not go and buy a cast or a torch for that matter. So I can have a restrictive chain of distribution where I'm selling my product to only those who have some foot related problem. Then comes the type of buyer. So maybe an industrial buyer, international buyers, wholesalers, retailers. Who are my type of buyers? So Fevicol, it's an ideal example for this. It had started out and out as a carpenter or a industrial product. So they were the ones to launch those huge packages of 1 kg, 5 kg and the like. Later on, they saw that Pedialyte saw that no, even school kids are using it, even households are keeping it because of the quality of the glue in it. So the type of consumers or the type of buyers expanded from not just carpenters. So they came out with that small 5 rupee, 10 rupee tubes. So likewise, you could have a larger distribution market. Then comes the buying habits, whether I buy this product just like that as per my convenience or I buy it on a specific reason, like having a cold drink or buying a packet of chips. I may buy it on the go. I'm traveling somewhere, even at a railway platform, I can find them. So I need to have a huge network distribution. But when it comes to groceries, I usually wait for month end. So the buying habit is once in a month. So they'll be available at those places where it is available or people come for monthly buying. So the kind of channel of distribution could be restrictive to the shopkeeper only, or the quantity in which I buy. Certain products I would always prefer buying multiple in nature. So let's say if I'm buying pillows, I don't mind extra pillow, one or two extra pillow. So the quantity can be a little higher. So you'll find them through multiple shops. So maybe even a home decor and a home linen shop would stock up cushions or small pillows. But a mattress for a bed, I will always buy the number of equivalent to the number of beds I have. So if you are going to a furnishing shop, they may not stock up mattresses for that matter. So again, it gets restricted over there. Then you have the size of the market. If it is a huge market, like I am the international producer and distributor, so I'll have to require a large chain of command. If I'm a small market, I have a very niche market, less people are buying it, so I can have a smaller chain of command. Then you had organization related. So after the external factors, it is something like an internal factor, that is what kind of company you are in. So how is your goodwill? Sometimes if my goodwill is very poor, people don't trust me, they do not know about the company, so I may want a large distribution network so that people know about me. Or it can happen the other way around, that people know about me so they don't mind traveling to me, so I can have an exclusive outlet at a particular place. So like let's say coffee from Kerala, now they need not sell it everywhere because people don't mind, like whenever they have people going to Kerala, they'll say, can you buy this for us? So likewise, it's the goodwill of the product, so even a restrictive distribution would work for them. Or the desire to control. I don't want anyone and everyone to buy my product. So I'll have a restrictive channel intermediary. Like, for example, Rolls Royce and Bentley. They don't want every other affluent class member also to have their product. So you'll find very restrictive stores as opposed to a car like Lamborghini or Ferrari, where they would want a considerable richer segment of the society. So you may still find a couple of outlets of these brands rather than the former ones. And lastly, the financial strength, because more the intermediaries means more the profit margin, more the share, less of your per capita, I mean your per income, per unit income. So it will affect the financial strength of the organization as well. So then you decide. So if you are not very strong financially, you may choose to sell the product, whether even if it means a smaller market, or you could lend it to a larger intermediaries where you don't mind sharing the profits if your financial strength is comparatively higher. And then you have the last category, which is the miscellaneous category of factors of factors of distribution that affect, like the government policy, like certain restrictive chemicals, arms, ammunitions, airplanes, aircrafts. These are all having restrictive distribution. Whereas other products, you could have, like if I want an imported car, I could pay the necessary duties and get it. But if I want to have an airplane, I need to take special permission for the same. So that's where the government interference comes into the picture. Or the cost of product. Pata chala that, I mean, you find out that the cost of product is only 2 rupees, but the distribution cost is 8 rupees. So it makes it more expensive. Whereas the cost of product per unit is 20 rupees and your distribution cost is 8 rupees. So it's still worth it. So you will find out what is the cost of product and the cost of distribution. And likewise, you can select the channel intermediaries, or the availability, the kind of competition, how easily it is accessible for people to buy it. So if it is a product which is available everywhere very easily, and people prefer the ones that are more local, so you need not bother about higher channel of distribution. And if your product is available something that's very exclusive and you want to retain that exclusivity, so you can have a shorter channel of distribution. And lastly, it's the sales potential, that is, how much of sales do you expect if you see that your product has more sales in an overseas market. So you don't mind selling your product there, so you will involve international dealers and agents. But if you do not see much of a sales potential outside your local vicinity or your local customers, so you could have a restrictive sales market for that as well, or you could have a restrictive sales distribution channel according to that. So with this, we end up with the factors of channel of distribution. And next topic that we would cover up is the levels uh, of distribution, channel of distribution.